So 2024 for the Patriots was a really transitional season for the Patriots. A season that was expected and was kind of needed in a way, because again, after 2+ decades of having Bill Belichick as your head coach, winning championships, winning 6 championships with Tom Brady, and again, you could see those latter years after Brady left that Belichick stayed way too long. He didn't split when Brady split, and you could see how every year, even when Brady was there at the end, he was fucking up this team. He was acting as the head coach and the GM, and after a lot of mess up with the roster and drafting the wrong people and the wrong quarterbacks like Mac Jones and so many others in the past. Belichick left in 2023. After the end of the 2023 season, Belichick leaves and Robert Kraft hires Jared Mayo. Jared Mayo gets hired. He's a former Patriots player, former Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. Worked under Bill Belichick. Again, a guy that came from the Bill Belichick learning tree. We're still going back to the Bill Belichick learning tree. I think, again, what the hell is it with them going back to the Bill Belichick learning tree? Coaching tree. It hasn't worked with Josh McDaniels. So again, but they're going back there again, going for an ex-Patriots player in Jared Mayo. And again, you're hiring a guy in Jared Mayo that has never had a defensive coordinator job before. His only experience he's had is being a linebacker coach. He's never actually tried to be a defensive coordinator. He just got straight to the head of the line. They never interviewed any candidates for the Patriots job. They just gave it to Jared Mayo, ignored the Rooney Rule, and just went straight to Jared Mayo. And it falls flat on their fucking face. And the Patriots the Patriots then went into the 2024 draft needing a quarterback, and they got the guy Drake May in the first round. And then for some weird reason, again, this is what I don't like about the modern day, about some of the coaches. This is what I don't like about some of these coaches in the NFL today, and the GMs, is that what is this whole obsession, this whole notion of you draft a young quarterback in the first round because you desperately need a young quarterback to be the new franchise guy, but you have this obsession of benching him for a number of weeks for a lesser, not as good quarterback, and the upside isn't going to be there for this quarterback. Now I'm talking about how Jared Mayo picked the first 5-6 weeks of the season. He picked Jacoby Brisker. Again, no disrespect to Jacoby Brisker. He's a great hand to have in your team, especially on the roster, but he's not a starter. Again, Drake May has more upside to him, and he should have. And that was crucial weeks of Drake May's rookie year that you just wasted just so that you can win some meaningless games. And you could see right there that really Jared Mayo's coaching and his management of the team wasn't really he wasn't gonna really last that long. When things weren't going right, he was throwing people under the bus, and it wasn't really going too well. And again, if you're gonna have a rookie quarterback sit behind somebody, have it sit behind somebody like a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers before 2021. Like, have him sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback in an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady. Don't have him sit behind a Jacoby Brisker, who again is a backup quarterback, decent career, but he's not going to be the guy who's going to win you championship. But again, the name of the game was to see what you had with Drake May this season. And like I said, he missed 5 or 6 weeks of the season because of this whole thing with Jacoby Brisker. and went to such a good brisker. And then really, if you're gonna go all in and if you're gonna tank and get a couple of early first round picks for 2025, then why the hell are you beating teams like the Jets, the Bears, and the Bengals? And again, the Bills, the Patriots were on that number one seed on the week 18, and then they beat the fucking Bills. And then after the game, uh, you have Joe Milton. Joe Milton gets a game. They drafted him as well in 2024. He gets Joe Milton at quarterback gets a game, and then after they beat the Bills, Jerry Mayo is fired. The, in the season. So let's talk about so they was third in passing yards. So Drake May had 2,226 passing yards. So again, he didn't have a bad year. I just wish that he would have started the whole 18 games to get some real experience. He just, again, that's just whatever. He was third in rushing yards. Stevenson had 801 rushing yards. That's where they need to really address. Points against, they was 22nd in they was 22nd in the defense. Passing, they was but last in passing yards. Rushing yards, they was 13th out of 32. Points for, they had the 20th. They had the 30th. They was 30th for points for. And then you look at really the needs for this Patriots team. They need weapons around Drake May. Because again, in passing, they was fucking last. So you need weapons around Drake May. Stevenson, again, he's been a good, Stevenson, you can move him on to somewhere else. Because again, he only had 801 yards, rushing yards. They need to work on running the ball, so you need to look at a running back, especially a running back, wide receiver. That has to be the name of the game. And also, you have to work on the offensive line, the trenches. You need to work on protecting Drake May. That is the name of the game. You need to get some work, especially on the offensive line. You need to work on the wide receivers. But again, I'll talk about that in a minute. You have a first round pick, a second round pick, 2 third round picks, a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick, 3 7th round picks. Apologies for that. You have about 6 million dead cap space, but like I said, if you move a couple if you move a couple of people off the roster, and you're smart with, if Elliott Wolf is smart, then you can build a pretty good team. So again, they need inside linebacker, tight end, somebody on that defensive line, an edge, cornerback, and an offensive tackle. Absolutely, you need an offensive tackle. You need a tight end, somebody that can run the ball, and again, somebody that Drake May can throw to, and they can create some magic. So in the off season, like I said, they fired Jared Mayo in the off season, and then they hired Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel comes in again. He's a former Patriots player, played under Belichick for a number of years, won a Super Bowl with Belichick. He comes in. Mike Vrabel comes in. He brings back Josh McDaniels again. Josh McDaniels is back in New England, being a offensive coordinator. But again, Mike Vrabel, you look at his work in Tennessee, he didn't really do great work with the rookie quarterbacks in Tennessee. Look what he did with Malik Willis. Look what he did with Will Levis. He wasn't really a fan of either of those guys. And again, Drake May, again, has more upside than those guys, but he didn't like playing Will Levis when he was in Tennessee. He would play Ryan Tannehill. and he did that with Malik Willis as well. He didn't like playing he didn't like playing the rookie quarterbacks in Tennessee. So I'm interested to see how Drake May and Verbal are going to work together this year. That's going to be an interesting thing. But again, the name of the game is you've got to work and build around Drake May. That is the end goal for the Patriots this year. Drafts, you got to draft an offensive tackle. You need a wide receiver if you can find a wide receiver. And again, you have a first round pick, fourth overall. So if you can find like a wide receiver early on or a tight end early on, then you gotta draft them. Don't draft somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, that is somewhere that you need to work on, but again, that's not a huge kind of deal because again, it's not about run the ball, being defensive. Bears football 1985. We're talking about modern day offensive football. That's what wins championships. Look at the name of the game. It's all about protecting the young quarterback, offensive line, the trenches, both sides of the ball, offensive and defense, and you need a lot of weapons: tight end, running back, wide receiver.